Viewers, hello and welcome. This presentation is all about influence, manipulation, and how to identify these two things, as well as how they're different. This presentation is for a subset of the audience. Specifically, we're looking for people who fit three descriptions. The first description is we're looking for people who are generally good at knowing who to trust, and yet they have been tricked. We're looking for people who have been disappointed by a role model. Now, this may have been very recent, or this may have been some years ago. The third description is we're looking for people who have a lot of ideas. They're constantly coming up with new thoughts. Now, these might be completely from within themselves. They might be triggered from an external stimulus. But the kind of people we're looking for always have these ideas. Now, if that sounds like you, there's a really specific reason as to why that is. That reason is my entire introduction was nothing more than influence and manipulation tactics. My very first word, viewers. My hands go out to the sides, they're at navel height, and palms are up. This is what Mark Bowden would say triggers your instinctive mind to recognize me as part of your tribe. Sounds crazy. Let me break it down for you shortly. The hands are at navel height. This is where our hands naturally go to when we're being the most sincere. The palms are up, displaying to you and your instinctual mind that I don't have weapons. And my hands are out, exposing all of my vital organs. I'm making myself vulnerable. I am not threatening you, and I'm being sincere. That triggers you instinctively to recognize me as someone you might trust. Moving from the hands to the face, we see what Vanessa Van Edwards would call micro-expressions. The eyebrows lift. Eyebrows lifting as a micro-expression commonly indicates that I recognize you. When we follow that up with a smile and a head tilting back, well, that means I'm happy to see you, and again, I'm making myself vulnerable by showing you my neck. So I recognize you, I'm happy to see you, and I'm not threatened. That came off the first word of the introduction. Starting from the second word forward, we move into our principles of persuasion. Liking is one of the principles of persuasion. Again, I greet you with open eyes, a smile, open hands. It's clear that I like you. Human nature is to like people that like us, and so that is our first principle. Moving forward, there is a principle of authority. Now, I'm sitting here in a suit and tie, I'm in a video production studio, and it appears that I am an authority and quite possibly someone you should pay attention to. Social proof is another of these principles. I was introduced by two speakers who both said they're really looking forward to the message I have to share. If socially everyone is looking forward to what I have to say and are ready to listen to it, it makes sense on an instinctual level that it's something you should listen to as well. Now, that sounds a little dark, but I'll tell you right now, influence is a wonderful thing. Okay, it's great to smile at people and be happy to see them. It's really good to be nice and friendly, especially to strangers. There's nothing at all wrong with putting your hands out when you greet someone you know or someone you trust. This helps build trust between us, and it actually helps humans go about creating wonderful societies. We move from influence, which personal opinion I love, into manipulation as soon as I start talking about the descriptions. Manipulations are different. They are very targeted, and they are deceitful. When I ask if you generally are good at knowing who to trust or you have been tricked, what I'm talking about is a rainbow ruse. I talk about one thing, you're good at trusting people, and the exact opposite, that you have been tricked. Human nature is you're going to attach to whatever sounds right. If I throw out two opposites, you're going to recognize one as being correct. The next thing I said is a Barnum phrase. A Barnum phrase sounds really personal. I'm talking about a role model and disappointment. It feels like it's spoken just for you. However, Everyone, at least every adult I've ever come across, has been disappointed at least once by someone they considered a role model. We finish this with another Barnum statement that's really just a compliment, in that you have a lot of ideas. And I'm sure you do. All humans do. That's what makes it a Barnum statement. People also like getting credit for having lots of ideas. So it's a compliment, it's a Barnum statement. You've already come along this path, and your brain is pre-wired to believe it. What on earth can you do? Well, give yourself extra time. If someone is coming to you, and it seems as though they may have a motive, say, you know, that sounds great, let me get right back to you. Even better, bring in someone else you know and you trust. It's much more difficult to manipulate two people, especially when one is brought in after the groundwork of the manipulation has been laid. So what have we seen? We've seen influence, we've seen manipulation, we've seen how they're different, and we have an idea of what to do going forward. Thank you so much for your time.